The other thing I want to ask you about, Margaret, if possible, is your memories of the rationing and through the war, because obviously everything was rationed from petrol to food to clothing. You know, how did you cope with all that rationing?
It did not bother us one little bit, because when you're in the forces, you weren't rationed like your parents were. I mean, rationing, yes, there was things that you couldn't get and that, but it wasn't rationing as severe as what your parents had got.
That was it. I was looking at some of the amounts that people had per person, and it was like 1 egg, 4 rashers of bacon a week. So, have you been part of the services? You had extra rations, did you?
Definitely. But my family as well, they were all right, because we kept chickens anyway and had allotment gardens, and so when I used to come home on leave, I got well looked after by the manager of the co-op and the butchery departments, because I used to go and help them out to clean up at the end of the week. And I got looked after pretty good. I can't say much at all there.
That's it. So if you help them out, they give you a bit of pork or a bit of extra bacon, then, was it? Something
that's
like
right, yeah. Instead of 2 slices of bacon, you had half a dozen. Yes, definitely.
That's it. You talk about the allotments, didn't you? I think, from what you read, playing fields, allotments, everything, back gardens were turned into allotments for people to grow, which is the dig for victory, wasn't it, really, which was part of it?
Yes, definitely. We'd got a big garden at the house anyway. So, I mean, we've got allotment gardens. We'd also got a garden at home. So, and chickens at the end of the avenue as well. So we kept those. So we were lucky.
I read during the war that there were people known as spivs who you could get sort of extra supplies from on the underground market as such sort of thing. Did you have much dealings for them for clothes or petrol or anything, or were you?
No. My parents both were parish councillors, and they wouldn't have allowed that, no way. One. That's a tin of dried egg. It's full, never been used. That, and it's what's the name? It tells you all on it. I don't know whether you can see it there. If you want, Kate can bring it and show it you.
That's dried. That was dried egg. That was part of the rationing, was it? That you got your hands on, right? Okay. What else have you got there?
We were very lucky because we got chickens anyway. Now that's a treacle tin. Now, you used to get the milk in bottles. That's a milkman used to come round. Well, always at the top of your milk bottle, there was cream. I don't know whether you've probably never seen it.
Yeah.
There was always so much cream at the top. And Mum used to tip that out or spoon most of that out, put it in and put it into. So we had about 4 lots, and then put the tin on tight, give it a good, keep shaking, perhaps for half an hour, till you hear it go, and you could hear splosh, splosh. And then you opened it, and you'd got a lump of butter.
Right.
Butter. And, the cream was always kept. We'd always got some proper butter. Because that was the toast, that tasted like what you used to call farmer's butter, homemade butter. And that's what we used to have the treacle tin when it was leading up to the war. And my mother must have known about that one from probably World War One, because she was in that line. And she was Land Army person, so she knew them little bits and bobs. Yeah, and so we always used to have some butter, and not just margarine.
So there were little tricks of things that you used to do and get your hands on.
Now, the best friend that I got towards the end, and we were together for right up to me getting demoted. When she first joined up, she used to work in the chocolate factory, and her father did as well. Well, of course, he was too old to join up, etc. But Margaret drew, her name was Margaret Ryder, and she came from Bristol, some part of Bristol. Anyway, she joined up, and I said, well, her father used to get a pack of chocolate every month. They did. That was workers at the factory. So they got fed up with it, used to send it to us, to Margaret and myself. Well, Margaret was fed up with it, so I got it. So when I got fed up with it, I used to send some home to my parents because they couldn't get chocolate and things. And then I'd give it to the girls in the huts as well, because we got it every month, this pack of mixed chocolates, and that was lovely, absolutely lovely, because you couldn't get chocolate for nothing of money, only occasionally. And if you happen to get chocolate into the YMCAs or anything like that, you would always get somebody to tell you, and somebody would make a dive down to go and get some. But you could only get one bar anyway. But he used to send us this chocolate, and it was absolutely brilliant. So we were lucky that way.
So you had a ration card, did you? You had your ration book, did you?
Yeah, I've got. Well, they're the coupons that I said. I'll give you a full page. They're the coupons, and they used to cut the coupons off in the shops wherever you went, and you got your butter, whatever it was. You had to use those. Now, that's quite a few in that one now. That's the actual ration book.
Oh, right. And did you have to, I bet you guarded them with your life, didn't you, Margaret?
Well, afterwards, but I mean, it didn't bother me, see, because we didn't have them. We'd been in the forces, we haven't got them.
That's a clothing book.
That one's the clothing book for buying clothes. Still got the coupons, look inside. Oh, that one's for tobacco.
And same again for tobacco, you only got a certain ration for tobacco.
Didn't bother us because we didn't smoke.
No,
so.
Wow, that is amazing. And again, that's 75 years old, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
You've done well to look after them and keep them. And what's that, Margaret?
Identity card. ID.
And what did you have to carry that one? What was that one for?
If ever anybody stopped you and they wanted to prove who you are and what you are and everything like that.
Right.
That's to prove who you are, that one.
And everybody during the war, or was that a services card?
No, everybody got an identity card. Everybody had one.
Right, wow. That's excellent that you've still got them after all this time. Margaret, I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to us and give us again more stories. I always like hearing your stories,